and welcome to Pitching in, the story podcast that explores the difference between taste and expertise. I'm Christian Barrett, and joining me to chat and pitch around the 1990 comedy classic Home Alone is returning guest Shane Adamczak.
Welcome, Shane. Toot toot! Thanks for having me back.
No worries. So, initially, there was going to be you and someone else sitting with us.
Old Mr. Ryan.
Old Mr. Ryan, he was going to come back, old mate. But then his bodies fell apart.
His body stopped working good.
Body just...
He has to go to the hospital.
Bits of it exploded. I don't know which bits.
His little baby boy appendix exploded.
Appendix, the little nubbin that sits at the end of your digestive tract, or part of it, I think. I can't remember where it is. Just fell off and exploded, and he was all sick and...
He blew it.
Complaining about all the hospital food.
So, if you're listening, Ryan, we miss you. We wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah. He'll be okay. And speaking of being okay, as always, myself and Shane are here. And at the beginning, I didn't mean anything. At the beginning of all our podcasts, we always just start off by giving a little bit of context for our listeners of kind of who we are, like what our sort of storytelling background is, and our tastes, because this podcast is all about pitching and storytelling and things. So I just think it's a great idea for us to know who we're listening to and who we are. So myself, Christian, I've got a master's in basically writing, and I did film school, and I've done some comics and made some short films. And recently I've started doing writing and illustrating a children's book, which is really cool. And my tastes are I really love genre stuff, fantasy stuff. And I really like it when stories have a good message. It doesn't have to be a happy message, but I like it when stories have an important message to tell. Okay, yeah. What about you, Shane?
My name is Shane, and I am a theatre maker by trade. I've got a background in writing, producing, and performing, mostly comedy stuff. And I do love my comedies, but I also like a bit of dark comedy, a bit of drama now and then. I love me a superhero movie, as you know. I love my comic book adaptations. And I think I said this last time, I love anything that's an original story, something that I've never seen before. Even if it's not the best original idea, I still appreciate it more than a reboot of something I've seen before.
Yeah, I really like that idea. At some
just
point,
like seeing something new.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Smith said it best, I think, when he was making his movie Tusk, which is... have you seen Tusk?
I have.
It's a bizarre movie.
It's very intense.
Not his best movie.
No.
But arguably one of his most original. And he basically said, we came up with this bizarre concept of a guy that gets kidnapped and turned into a walrus.
Yeah.
And no one was ever going to make that movie unless I made that movie. And that's how I feel about a lot of the shows that I make.
Yeah. Oh, that's really... I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That way lies valuable content, I think.
Yeah.
That's a good metric.
Just give me something new.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's hard to make new things.
It is.
That's the hardest thing, which is why all the reboots.
So many reboots.
Because they need established properties, because they can count on an audience.
Like Transformers.
Yeah. Oh, I asked you not to do that at the table, Shane. He's just having a little... No, it's all right. He's just filling up a drink. It's okay. No. Suggestive. Great. All right. Well, as we said, today we are going to be talking about Home Alone, a classic 1990 comedy. I'm pretty sure it'd be something pretty classic from our childhoods.
Absolutely. I just feel like we've done 1990 movies both times. I'm totally down with that.
Gosh, we have.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Last time I was here, we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that was 1990
That's 1990 as well.
Well, these guys were competing with each other in the box office, and this was, at the time, it was the third highest grossing film of all time.
Wow.
Behind only Star Wars and E.T.
For real?
For real.
That is amazing.
It was directed by Chris Columbus, who went on to direct the first two Harry Potters, the Percy Jackson films, Mrs. Doubtfire, Pixels, and lots of others.
Oh, Pixels.
Yeah, so he has a broad spectrum. And it was written by 80s stalwart John Hughes.
Yeah, Hughesy.
Who wrote The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Dennis the Menace, Beethoven, Baby's Day Out, Weird Science, Uncle Buck, Home Alone 2 and 3, and Flubber.
And Some Kind of Wonderful.
And Some Kind of Wonderful,
which
that's
I just watched for the first time.
With Andrew McCarthy in it, where he always opens his eyes big.
It's quite good.
To make his point. It is, I like that movie. Mm-hmm. And Leah Thompson as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's a great movie. And yes, so this film, Home Alone, was followed by a commercially successful sequel in 1992, Lost in New York. Also a great movie.
Same movie.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, so this could be up for debate, but apparently according to Wikipedia or IMDb, the Uncle Frank character
Right.
was originally going to be Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, like that makes sense.
But it's you know why he couldn't do it? Because he got stuck at home. He couldn't figure out what to do with the tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
Oh,
He couldn't figure it out.
Oh, he just couldn't.
He was stuck.
Maybe he could sing a song.
What am I gonna do with all of these scrambled eggs? I should have a bop bop squat out.
And that's why we all love Friends.
Yep.
Also, Scholastic released a novelization to coincide with the film.
That I did not know.
Yeah, and Scholastic as well. The educational, like edutainment.
Yeah.
Those guys, that's pretty cool.
I feel like Home Alone does not lend itself well to novelization.
No,
and then he set up more traps, and then there was another trap.
Yeah, and then he fell and he was like, ooh, and the fall was really funny when he did it.
Yeah, he the nail went in his bare foot, and it was fucked.
Oh, when it like dug in.
Yeah.
And I have another fact. Buzz's girlfriend, Woof, is a male actor which Chris Columbus I think said he wanted to use to save hurting a female actor's feelings.
Can I tell you another factoid about that factoid?
Yes.
That's Chris Columbus's son.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. I also read one of the famous little factoids is that Joe Pesci accidentally bit Macaulay's finger and left a scar. So obviously, the stars, Macaulay Culkin, you've also got Joe Pesci in there, and
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, classic, the voice of the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Classic. But yeah, apparently Joe Pesci bit Macaulay's finger and left a scar. Like he actually bit when he was pretending to bite off one of his fingers. He did bite it a little bit too hard.
Pretty cool story behind having a scar on your finger.
Here's a scar on my finger. Joe
like
Pesci
I've got a scar
bit
on
me.
my finger. I just fell off my bike.
Yeah, I've got a scar on my hand where I just put a stick in my sleeve and I was like going, pew, 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 I've got a stick gun. Ow, my hand. I scratched myself.
Yeah, so getting bitten by Joe Pesci, way cooler than both those stories.
And also, you know this shot where where Kevin is walking down the street and they're driving and not noticing that he's there, and they pause right before hitting him, and he goes, ah!
Yeah.
They apparently really had to do that and really put it right up close to his face and stopped it there. They weren't travelling very fast, but they had to genuinely risk his health a little bit, apparently.
Funny thing, because I had a fact about that as well, but my fact's different from your fact.
Okay, maybe
in fact,
mine's
it completely contradicts it.
Okay, go for it. What is it?
What I heard was that they had the van right up against his face, and then they drove backwards, and they reversed the shot.
Yes! Okay, yes.
Which makes more sense,
I did
right?
remember hearing that.
Because surely,
yes.
Macaulay Culkin wasn't a huge star yet, but he was still like a child actor. They couldn't
that
risk
makes
hitting
more
him with a
sense.
car.
Yes, okay, so
Or they did it very slowly and sped it up.
Well, no, because maybe I do remember hearing that they reversed it, and I like the idea that because I remember it shakes because it stops and you see it shake. So I like the idea that maybe they gave it a shove and then reversed it, and then rewound the tape. Yeah, okay.
On the off chance that no one has seen Home Alone,
yes,
and still chose to listen to this episode,
yes,
should we explain it?
Yeah,
it's not.
So
it's not
hard to explain. So basically,
premise.
a kid who wishes for his family to disappear.
They're all arguing and stuff.
They're all arguing, and
Christmas time.
He wakes up the next morning, and they are all gone because they basically just forgot him, and they've gone to the airport. They've gone to Paris, and he gets left home alone. And in the meantime, some burglars are like eyeing up the house to rob.
Yep.
And then they do rob it, or they try to, and he has to protect his house using all of his childhood toys and cool things around the house to like trap him and
booby
hurt him
traps
and like scare him away. And he has to learn the value of family at Christmas time.
When I was growing up, especially like in the late 80s and early 90s, I always loved the Gadgets kid character. You like Data in the Goonies, like the guy from Short Circuit, anything that involved a kid getting to do gadgets. I was like,
yes,
yeah, that's what I want.
Did you ever see that Bratz movie, Born, Raised and Taught, or whatever it was, BRRT? It has Sean Astin in it. Okay, so they're a gang of kids. It's in the 80s. It's definitely Goonies-esque, trying to riff on Goonies, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And they have a base that's like an old military bunker that they live in. They have a blinking language that they can only communicate with each other by blinking.
All right.
So cool. And the main character, Sean Astin, I think it's Sean Astin, maybe I'm just imagining. No, I think it's him. So Sean Astin rides around on what was, to me, the very first and very coolest motorized skateboard.
Oh, okay.
So he has a little button presser that he presses with a cord that goes down to the skateboard, and he just zooms around town and goes into school, and he's like, hey, whatever, I can ride through the holes of my motorized skateboard. And it's like how they, I can't remember what the story is, but it's really cool because they have those little gadgets put all through, and like they have the blinking thing.
I just love gadgets.
It's great. Sorry, but yes, you were talking about loving the gadgets.
Yeah.
And that's why you
And I think that's why I really was drawn to this movie.
Yeah.
And also, when I was little, people used to tell me I look like Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You've got kind of a wide-eyed innocence thing.
Yeah. Not so, like, I don't look like him that much anymore, but when I was...
Yeah, no, and you don't look like him
10.
now, because we're close to his age. He's like 5 or 6 years older than us, I think. But
He's come good.
Yeah.
And just on that,
Yes.
have you seen the Google ad with Macaulay Culkin where he reenacts
No.
Home Alone? If you haven't seen it, and if you're
Okay.
listening and you haven't seen it, just look
Okay.
up Macaulay Culkin Home Alone Google ad.
Okay.
It's for like Google Plus, the
Okay.
Alexa, do this thing
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Okay.
It's very, very fun.
Okay, great. All right, I'll have to check it out.
Little Easter egg for y'all there.
So, we want to talk about? So, we're going to go now into kind of the things we liked or didn't like about the film. Give it a bit of a review. Do you want to? Oh, yeah, and then we'll maybe give it a score at the end, as we've been habiting lately. So, I really like this movie. Like, I just think it's very solid. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I don't think it's the greatest movie ever. But I've always had really fond memories of it.
It holds up too.
It does hold up. It does hold up. The first thing I noticed when I was looking back, and I watched it again the other day, is it is really well structured. It's really well put together in terms of storytelling.
Totally.
Like, it hits all its beats in terms of moving through good character arcs, and you kind of see Kevin going from being this whingy, bratty kid through to kind of realizing halfway through that maybe he does miss his family after all.
Yeah.
He's like sitting there with his photo going, oh, sorry, family, and like apologizes to his photo. And then by the end, he's like, I have to stand up for my house. Whether my family's coming back or not, I have to protect my house. And he's kind of, he goes through that
he really
lovely
is
journey.
quite a brat at the start
He's
of the
a
movie.
brat. Like, when he tells his mum, why don't you get off the phone and make me? Like, he's like...
he's a little jerk.
He's a bit of a jerk. And he's like, I wish... But equally, I think his mum's a jerk.
But yeah, his family is also jerks
His
to
mum
him
should
as well.
really know better than to just say, well, maybe if you wish it, it'll come true. And then you have nobody. I'm like, whoa, he's 8. It's like really mean. So kind of my favorite thing about it was probably the story structure. I went through it and just there's just
John Hughes, man.
bang bang bang, and even just like act as is comfortable and fits the standard structure of Hollywood stuff. 29 minutes in is the end of Act 1, which is exactly a third of the a quarter of the 95-minute runtime. Third. And then at 49 minutes is the halfway point, like right in the middle. 63 minutes, everything seems like it's gone to crap. And then they pull it all together to finish at 95 minutes. And it's just, it's really, just really well structured. I also really like the music.
John Williams
is amazing. I think the music is the heart of it. Mm-hmm. One of my only gripes with the film is that, and it's a small gripe, is that I don't particularly like any of the characters.
Okay.
What I do have is I do feel sorry for them, and I do like I admire, like I feel bad that Kevin gets left alone, and I admire his ingenuity, and he's like, he gets up and he's got gumption and he's like has attitude and stuff. But even at the end, he's like gloating, and he's still a little bit of a brat. Like, he's good, he's fine, he's not anything to, but he's still a bit smug, and he's still a bit of a
But you can tell that he's learned a lesson to never put himself in a situation where it could happen to him again.
No, of course,
until the next Christmas.
Until the next... Does it happen the next Christmas?
I think it's the next year, the second one, yeah.
And I also really didn't like the mum. And even by the end, when she apologises to Kevin, I'm still like, I still don't trust you. Like, I still don't think you're a good mum. But I'll forgive her because she does put a lot of effort in, and she has to hang out with the poker guys, and she tries.
John Candy.
But yeah, I think the music... So that one gripe I have, the music more than kind of covers that up. Because instead of me feeling deeply, particularly connected to any of the characters, the music says everything that the characters are feeling and kind of carries that over in a way that's totally legitimate and totally, go for it. And just like the Somewhere in My Memory theme, and even the silver bell, sweet silver smell, like all of the musical beats and surges are just lovely. Like, I think it's... No, it's not that one. What's the one he sings? I'm dreaming of a white... Yeah, that's right. He sings White
I can tell you
Christmas.
exactly who it is. It is...
The Drifters?
The Drifters.
Yes, that's right.
White Christmas.
Yes, where he sings in the shower, sings into the mirror. All those beats are just
iconic
lovely.
aftershave shot where he puts his hands...
Okay, I have a question about that though. It doesn't hurt if you haven't... If
no, it wouldn't.
scrape
He
your
hasn't
skin,
shaved. It makes
hurt.
no sense.
It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't. It doesn't hurt. It's only the alcohol. Yeah, and then the only other part I wanted to say is that both the best and like a weird part with this movie is that in my head as a kid, the main part of the movie was when they burgled the house. Yeah, that was like the whole point of the film, right? That's the main part of the movie. And in my head, that made up most of the portion, the biggest proportion of the film.
Sure.
Like, it takes up the main chunk when he's fighting them in the house and like preparing the house and then fighting them in the house. him fighting them in the house takes up 14 minutes of the runtime.
Oh, really? Is it
14 minutes
much?
of the 95-minute runtime.
Wow.
That's all it takes.
In my mind, it's a lot longer.
It's huge in my mind, you know. And I think there's about 6 or 7 minutes of him prepping.
And there's a few other scenes as well where he does like little distraction ones, like when he throws a fake party to throw them off.
Yes,
and stuff like
that's
that.
right. So
But there's like the actual burgle is only 14 minutes.
He's only 14 minutes so it's like a ninth of the film. Or an eighth of the film. And that's just a testament to how effective it is, because that means you spend the whole, like in my memory, all the rest of the film is building up to that. But in terms of the time, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get to it and you just have this massive, like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for, kick their asses kind of thing. And I think it's just...
team.
And there's a lot of... The scenes, it's not as if the rest of the movie is really slow and boring. The scenes leading up to it are interesting.
There's the old guy with the shovel.
There's the old guy with the shovel. Like that's a lovely kind of. He's almost like what would happen to Kevin if he didn't forgive his family, kind of thing. Like, and he just goes down to this dark road and just is an old man and doesn't have his family.
It's
anymore.
like he's there to teach Kevin a lesson.
Oh my gosh, and vice versa.
Wow.
Am I saying what? Like, but yeah. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I again struggle to find a lot of big faults in this movie. It's a wonderful movie. Here's the things I love about it. Angels with Filthy Souls, the movie that Kevin's not allowed to watch, but then when he's home alone does watch, the gangster movie, that for many years I just assumed was a real movie.
Me too.
Not a real movie.
I thought it was a real movie
they
until
just
about
made it up
2 weeks ago.
They just made it up for Home Alone.
Yeah.
And for many years I was like, how come I've never seen that movie anymore?
Yeah, I thought they just changed the name or something.
Yeah, I think it apparently is based on like a James Cagney movie or something,
Okay.
but it's very, very cool. I mean, I love Harry and Marv, the Wet Bandits. They're just like, what amazing casting. Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. So good. When the mum gets off the plane, when she's realized they've left Kevin at home, she goes to the airport, she makes a call to the cops to say, oh, the kid's home alone, can you check in on them, right? I'll give you 10 points if you can tell me the name of that officer.
Of the character actor who does that guy.
Not the character that... Not
the actor.
No, the character. His name.
Okay, when I saw it this time, I was like, that's a weird name.
It's pretty weird.
Because it's like a joke name.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did this get through?
That same thing I wondered.
Okay, you tell me, I'm not going to remember.
Officer Ballsack.
Ballsack, that's right. We were going, did he just say Ballsack?
His name is Officer Ballsack. I mean, it's Balzac, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, that was great.
John Candy's in this movie. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
He's playing a version of his character from Planes, Trains and Automobiles, basically.
Yeah.
So lovable. R.I.P. the great John Candy.
Yeah.
Here's what I like about Home Alone. The age-old argument, I don't know which side of the fence you lie on, about Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
No, it is not.
No, it's a movie set at Christmas.
It's an action movie set at Christmas time.
Yeah, it's not a Christmas
Home Alone is a movie with action in it.
Yes.
Set at Christmas time.
Yes.
That is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
And I think that's the best example I can give in that Die Hard argument.
That is a good, because to me that argument is about being set at Christmas versus being about Christmas. If it doesn't embody, if its themes aren't linked in with the themes of Christmas, it's not a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And Die Hard's themes don't link in with Christmas.
Because you can have like, let's say the movie Snakes on a Plane, all right?
Yeah.
Not or anything to do with Christmas, but if you like just have one character go, well, it's Christmas Eve, better go to my plane, hope there's no snakes on it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
No. Even if at the end they go, oh, well, now I learned that at least I got my wife back, and phew, now we can spend Christmas together. No, that doesn't make it about Christmas.
No, it's a movie about snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a plane.
Anyway.
You may be getting your wife back.
So 14 minutes is how long you said the burglary goes for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Please sit back and enjoy the list of injuries that the Wet Bandits sustain during those 14 minutes that, proven by doctors, would have killed them each at least 3 times.
Okay, I did the same thing, but I put my list over there. Okay, go for it.
Feel free to add to this list.
Yeah.
Testicular hematoma, broken ribs and sternum, 3rd-degree burns, ruptured spleen and or kidneys, tetanus, spinal trauma, head trauma, nerve damage, ocular and nasal fractures, broken teeth, punctured lung, multiple head injuries, multiple spinal fractures, hip and pelvic fracture, concussion, broken neck, cardiac contusions, shoulder dislocation, and certain death. Because it's not funny if they actually die in the movie. That's the thing.
No, that's true. And
They just get very badly
I wonder
hurt.
about that because there's parts that I've forgotten where Kevin does his own big slapstick action, like when he rides his sled out the front door, down the stairs and out the front door, something that would probably injure him. Or when he goes into
because if you look at the door isn't actually lined up with
it
the
doesn't,
stairs.
and they changed the it doesn't line up.
Sneaky cinema magic.
Or like when he goes into Buzz's room for the first time to like get his stuff, and the whole all the shelves collapse on him.
Yeah,
and he just kind of goes, "Oh, I'm a little bit. Oh, I'm fine." And he just gets up and he's okay from under a pile of shelves, like he's fine. So I feel like they established the kind of cartooniness of their survivability early on like that, and I feel like maybe that helps you to forgive. Or kind of understand that, this is the level.
Oh, there's a suspension of disbelief there.
Yeah.
Or a suspension of knowledge of medical procedures and stuff.
Yeah, like, ooh.
Because I watched some videos where they kind of like myth busted, some of the things.
Yeah.
On like a ballistics doll, and they were like, yeah, this is the point in the movie where he would have died. Like they did the swinging paint can on a ballistics doll, and it pretty much knocked its head off.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, even when he hits him with I think what I wrote down. So I wrote down.
Also shoots him in the nuts with a BB gun.
Yeah, from point blank, like within a foot. And so I think
like that should have been the end of the wet bandits. Just there, they're like, fuck
he would have
this.
gone down. There would have been one left.
Yeah,
and then he would have had to take him to hospital to reattach it. I wrote down 10 traps. So 10 basic traps. So there's like 5 or 6 before they get into the house, and like 5 or 6 once they get into the house. And then there's also the rope that he breaks and they swing and slam.
Yeah.
And I never thought, like, just the fact that I realised there was 10, I was like, I didn't realise there was so many. But they're just packed on top of each other, one after the other.
I'm realising...
Oh, and then there's the spider as well.
Well, I'm realising the spin-off that I should have written for this now, which is Marv and Harry Indestructible.
Oh, yeah.
It's just them on adventure, you realise they
just
can't be killed.
Things.
Yeah, and they're like, wait a minute, we went through all that and we didn't die? We cannot be killed. And then they become like super villains.
Wow, yeah. Oh, something I wanted to ask about. So you said when they were watching, what is it, Angels? What's the Angels one called?
Angels with Filthy Souls.
Angels with Filthy Souls. So when he goes, I'm eating junk and watching rubbish, come and stop me. I remember thinking, what does he mean he's watching rubbish? To me, this looks like a classic / potentially boring black and white film that I wouldn't watch if I was his age. I'd find that kind of thing. This is what I was thinking back then. I was like, that's a boring movie about mafia boys shooting stuff. I was like, that's boring. And he's like watching rubbish. And I was like, so this is like the kind of... Is this like trite in his universe? Or like, do they think it's like... I was like, even if it's not the kind of stuff that I would be interested in as a kid, I was like, it still seems like it's like noir, drama, kind of a classic. Why is it considered rubbish? But then it's like, oh no, I think it's just that it's too violent.
Yeah, it's just... My impression was that it was always just a movie he's never been allowed to watch.
Yeah. So that's what I thought, but then it just meant, I was like, so I don't get why he calls it rubbish. It's like, that, it's not how I would describe something that I'm not allowed to watch.
Well, it's a word that your mum would use. Stop watching that rubbish.
Yeah,
maybe that's why it's in his head.
But I would, yes, I agree, but I would only use that word if I was like, stop watching that rubbish because it's too simple and too silly, not stop watching Quentin Tarantino, or stop watching something that's massively violent. I
or
feel
the
like
classic film, Angels with Filthy Souls.
Or Angels with Filthy Souls. I think it'd be like, stop watching that, you're too young to watch that. But anyway, that's a nitpicky thing that's very minor.
Well,
and it doesn't
write a letter to the John Hughes estate.
It doesn't subtract from the film.
Get them to change it.
But I was just always curious about that. I remember feeling weird about that as a kid. Yeah. Oh, and I noticed there's a few other little things that I noticed that were really cool, that were like good storytelling things. I can probably only remember one of them now, but the fact that when the old man, the first time Kevin interacts with the old man, he slams his hand down on the shop counter, and you see he's got a bandage, and it's like all bloody, and that's part of what's freaky about him in that moment. And then at the end, when they shake hands, you see he's got a Band-Aid on.
Oh.
And it's like it cuts to them shaking hands, and you see his Band-Aid, and it makes a point of showing that little shot. And I was just like, that's like a really subtle little thing of like, he's gone from this scary, damaged character to like this guy who's like safe, and he's like, he's helping, he's like putting a Band-Aid on the situation. I was like, that's kind of like really subtle and not necessary.
But for real, that guy for sure like murdered people and put them in the salt, right?
I don't think that's what we're meant to take away from that.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I want to know why he was looking at Kevin so intensely every time he looked at him.
Because he was going to murder him.
Well...
Yeah, he's going to steal the tarantula and eat it.
Do you know what else I noticed watching it this time through? some of the other characters, like the sisters, like the sisters and brothers, which I've never looked at before. Like
kinda
I paid
forget about
so
them.
little attention to how many sisters and characters there were.
Macaulay Culkin's real brother?
Yeah, Rory or Kieran? I can't
Kieran.
remember. Kieran, okay, and he's Fuller.
He wets the
kid
bed.
who wets the bed. Yeah, I just tried to pay more attention to the other characters. There was an auntie that I've never seen before. I was like, is she one of the aunties? Oh, she must be an auntie. Okay, great.
Because as a kid, you don't care about that bit.
Don't
You're like,
care about
get to
it.
the
I was
bit
just
where he's
like-
doing the traps.
Yeah, I was like, and he took his cheese pizza. Buzz is so awful. He took his cheese pizza. He's just like, oh, blah, blah. He's just like eating it. Horrible. They're so mean to him.
I wonder what Buzz is doing these days.
I like how he's called Buzz and he had a Buzz haircut.
I wonder if he changed it throughout time.
Oh, I hope so.
Like in the 80s, he was called Mullet.
Well,
Now he's called Sick Fade now.
oh yeah.
Yeah, hi, I'm
That'd be
Sick
great.
Fade.
Sick Fade. Sick Fade Junior. DJ Sick Fade. So what?
Should we score it?
Should we score it?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I don't...
Now, here's my question before we score it. Are
Yeah.
we trying to score this movie, like, objectively now as adults, or, like, from the perspective of when we first saw the movie, when we watched it, when it was made for people young?
Okay.
When
So
we were kids?
I think... I don't see how I can't do both.
Okay.
Because only doing it objectively takes away from who it was intended for.
Sure.
But only doing it for who it was intended for means that I have no knowledge of... I can't appreciate all the quality storytelling.
Okay.
You know? So I kind of... So for me, I'd probably go like 7.5.
Okay.
Something like that. Because 8 plus is for when a movie just really makes me like tear up or like... And it almost does it. It's very touching. It's a very sweet... But it's not trying to be that level, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I would give it like a 7.5 or maybe a 7.6, 7.6.
Oh boy, you've got to work this out later. It's not my job.
Something like that. But I'm
I'm
very happy with it.
For what it is, the team behind it, and what
Yeah.
it achieved, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's an average of like 7.7 or something, or 7.8,
Yeah,
7.9.
It's a pretty good score.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, and I yeah, and power to him.
Next time, let's pick a crap movie from 1990.
I mean, you know, this
Jokes
is the
on you
first
guys.
time.
There are no crap movies from 1990.
Well, I mean, Ghost was in 1990. What else did we say?
Ghost isn't crap.
No, that's what I mean. Like, there's so many. It's all good.
right.
That's what I mean. Sorry, Ghost is great. This is interesting because this is the first movie that I've done on the podcast where I haven't had many problems with it. I've just really felt pretty good about it.
John Hughes is a very good
But it's
writer.
amazing the difference between what did I score Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like? I said 6.3 or something
ridiculous.
Something ridiculous. Yeah, Shane scored it much higher than me, and I still.
But to be fair, I gave Ninja Turtles a 9, I think. So.
Yeah. But no, that was good to balance me out. But I find it amazing how much difference there is for me between a 6.3 and a 7.5, 7.7, 7.5.
But I mean, Ninja Turtles and Home Alone, pretty different demographics,
They
pretty
are
different movies.
Yeah, they're massively different. Yeah. Well, speaking of massively different,
Yeah.
as ever, we spend a portion of the show talking about the movie, and then we spend a portion of the show pitching
A tent.
our sequels / reboots / remakes / whatever we want.
I'll make it sound like we're working here.
Yeah. Rustle some papers.
Rustle some papers, yep.
So I haven't printed out any of my stuff this week because I ran out of time and today's a public holiday. So I couldn't go anywhere to print it. I'm just going to read it off my phone. Shane's going to be reading off his
Computer
machine.
Leapboard. We are. It's the future.
So let's just talk briefly about... Let's just give a very brief idea of what the kind of pitch we're doing is.
Yep.
And then we can decide who wants to go first.
Okay.
So mine is not a sequel.
Okay.
Mine is kind of mine's basically a spin-off. I feel like you'd
Okay.
say it's a spin-off because it's not...
The Wet Bandits.
No.
Invulnerable.
No, because I know that there's
Unbreakable.
I mean, that would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Now, I hadn't thought about that. But this is an idea that came to me kind of immediately as I was playing around with around the concept of Home Alone and like the basic idea of what it's about.
Okay.
And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you think because it's not...
Where would it sit in the... If video stores still existed, where would it sit?
It would be
What
like,
genre?
okay, you know how like... Oh, it would be in
Family?
Yes.
Comedy?
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be a family comedy.
Yep.
Possibly on the mature end though, so kind of up in
All
the
right.
kind of what am I
PG?
thinking?
PG
yeah,
maybe?
so up in
Okay.
like the Bring It On kind of
Okay.
Jumanji kind of
Like
like
the upper echelon
the
of
upper echelon
family movies.
Yeah, so like tween kind,
All right.
kind of area.
I'm
yeah.
digging that.
What
Well,
about you?
mine's a... I think mine's probably... It's a short film. It's
Okay.
definitely a darker take on the Home Alone story.
Okay.
It's a direct sequel.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay, cool.
I think we should do mine first.
Yes, sure.
Because I think mine's
I
pretty dark,
suspect-
and yours might bring back some light to your podcast.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. I'm not going to tell you the title of mine because it gets
Okay.
revealed a little bit later into the pitch. So we
Okay.
sort of start with a bit of a cold open. So I'm simply just going to call this a Home Alone sequel, a short. Okay? So, cold open. Christmas music plays as we open on the McAllister household. We see flashback images from the original Home Alone films as Kevin and his parents and siblings, cousins, aunts and uncles all wreak havoc on the house at Christmas time. Flashes of dysfunction and fights and arguments and chaos as the family leave in a hurry, and flashes of an 8-year-old Kevin being left home alone. The music darkens in tone as we see images of Marv and Harry, the wet bandits, attempting to break in and rob the house as Kevin sets loose a series of booby traps and obstacles to thwart them. Slippery steps, heated door handles, nails through bare feet, and paint cans to the face amongst the carnage and screams and agony. The music builds to a crescendo as Harry, played by Joe Pesci's line is uttered, "You're dead, kid. We're already in the house. We're gonna get you," rings out and echoes, and is interrupted by a loud knock at the door. Hard cut to a now older Kevin, now in his mid-40s, looking at a picture of him and a wife and 2 kids in a shattered glass picture frame. He's sad and broken, shell of the former man he once was. The house is unkempt and messy and shot in harsh blue tones. If it's Christmas, we certainly wouldn't know it. Another knock at the door. A cautious Kevin reaches for a gun. He checks the chamber. It contains one solitary bullet, and he slowly approaches the door. "Who is it?" he asks. "Little Nero's Pizza for Kevin McAllister." Kevin loosens his grip on the gun and places it into the waistline of his pants. Cut to the dining room table. Kevin places his gun down beside the pizza box, and in a somber tone, Kevin looks down and exclaims, "A lovely cheese pizza. Just for me." Opening titles fade up on the screen. It's simply one word. It just says, "Alone."
Oh.
That's the cold open of the film.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Oh, man.
So here's the pitch now.
Yeah.
Haunted by the childhood trauma of being attacked by the wet bandits, we now see a teenage Kevin, a strange outcast and weirdo at his high school, failing to fit in and make friends, but excelling at science and engineering. We see kids talking about him behind his back. Kevin walks the halls cautiously, trying to avoid unwanted attention, but is somehow always found by those damn bullies. We then see Kevin in his 20s, a genius recluse at university, solving complicated equations a la Good Will Hunting, and trying to keep to himself. Enter the beautiful Jasmine Biggs, played by Rachel McAdams. Another student unaware of Kevin's past who takes a shining to him. Another student unaware of Kevin's past who takes a shining to him. The pair form a strong bond and soon begin dating. She helps him come out of his shell, he helps her study. They soon fall deeply in love and eventually marry, and we see all of the McAllister family reunited at the old house for the Biggs McAllister wedding. Buzz is the best man. Kevin has never been happier. Several years pass, and several years later the family, which now include Kevin's 2 kids, Gus and Moira, reunite yet again when unfortunately Kevin's mother falls ill. Kevin shares her final moments in a hospital bed where she declares she's so proud of the man that he's become, and dies happy knowing that he will never truly be alone again. She passes away. It is very sad. John Williams does the score and fucking nails it. The morning of the funeral, Kevin sleeps through his alarm, and through a series of miscommunications and mistakes, the family leave without him, and Kevin wakes up to find himself once again home alone. Rather than a montage of... Oops, sorry, my thing just skipped. Rather than a montage of him getting up to his antics at eating ice cream, jumping on beds and using aftershave, Kevin is instead still and suddenly brought to tears. It happened again. I made my family disappear. In the background, a car exhaust misfires nearby and Kevin is instantly shocked into defense mode. Fight or flight. He remembers what happens all those years ago and begins to set up a series of elaborate traps and deadly weaponized objects all throughout the house. By the end, Kevin, now exhausted and looking rather manic and disheveled, is ready for battle. It's my house, and I have to defend it. A rattle at the door handle sends Kevin into a wild panic as he runs up the stairs and prepares to launch a series of paint cans, bowling balls, and spiders down into the unsuspecting intruders. The jangling of keys, the door is opened a hair, and without hesitation, Kevin releases his onslaught, only to be greeted with two familiar voices. "Dad, are you still here? Everyone's waiting for you." It's his two kids, Gus and Moira. But it's too late. And as his two children are pulverized beyond recognition, tears stream down Kevin's face as he's frozen in shock at what he's done. He really did make his family disappear. A screaming Jasmine, played by Rachel McAdams, enters distraught and confused. The screams of the name Kevin echo through the house, and we cut back to the broken Kevin we saw at the beginning, sitting at the table alone, eating the last slice of his cheese pizza. Kevin picks up the gun and slowly ascends the stairs as White Christmas by the Drifters begins to play in the background, as if being played by a haunted old radio. Kevin enters a dusty covered room. It's empty. The door reads, "Buzz's room, keep out." We hear a gunshot and a snap to black. The end credits roll. There is a post-credits scene which involves Buzz, now a police officer being called to investigate the death. He declares, "Kevin! What did you do to my room?" The end. So it's a lighthearted romp take on the old Home Alone.
Oh, shit. As soon as... Oh, man. I wondered if that was...
Kids these days are like dark and gritty. So that's what I give them. Dark and gritty.
For a sec, like before, when you said when you said the kids are at the door... So I just had this image of something swinging down and just slamming them, and they just go woof, and they just like fly out onto the. Oh,
yeah, pretty messed up, right?
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, so
I feel like that's something that Macaulay would be into.
Yeah, so it's called Alone.
Alone.
The movie's called Alone.
That's great, and I liked your insistence on Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, it must be Rachel McAdams.
It has to be her. Yeah.
So that's why I think you should go next. See if you can lift the tone a little bit. I feel like I probably bummed a couple of people out.
That's good. Oh, well, mine. Mine isn't a lighthearted frolic either. It's lighter than that.
Do any kids die in it?
Oh no.
No, you'll probably be all right.
Oh, I like that. So how long a movie? How long a short do you think it'd be? 15 minutes? 10 minutes?
Yeah, I reckon 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
I reckon I can shoot. Macaulay, if you're interested,
yeah,
I'll make this movie with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Oh, okay.
Wet Bandits was like his name.
Yeah, the flashback thing. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I wonder where he got a gun from. Like
he's American. He could go to Walmart and buy one.
Yeah, of course. That's true. He's American.
You ever been to a department store in America? It's messed up.
No, I've never been to America.
It's like toy aisle, clothes aisle, and then an aisle that just has fishing rods and guns.
Wow.
You just buy them.
Wow. You don't have to get like a license?
You have to get like a license.
Like 9 days.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pretty cool.
That's made me even sadder.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I liked it. Home. It's just called Home. It's just called Alone. It's just called Alone. They're short. Okay. Well, all right. Mine is called Home Alone Co-Education.
Oh, all right.
1960s America.
Oh, okay. I'm on board already.
A group of rebellious teenage girls watch TV in the dorms of their stuffy boarding school in the country. They lament their isolation, their curfew, the stuffy headmistress, and the condescending boys across campus, as they cheer for the bra burnings on TV and dream of the upcoming Christmas break. The next day in class, the rebel girls trade verbal blows with the popular girls, the ones who are good at sewing and baking class, who want everything the school and its traditions can give them, the chance to fit in, to become real ladies and good wives. The rebel girls catch the boys leaving their male-only classes, woodwork, metal shop, science lab, and they try to brag about the bra burning, but the boys just laugh and quip that collecting bras is their favourite pastime. Men love trophies.
Oh, God.
The girls get frustrated, go to the headmistress to demand that, as independent women, they be allowed to take part in the male-only classes. But the headmistress explains she can't argue with the all-male board, or she'll be accused of hysteria. A woman must be ladylike to maintain her position in the world, which means knowing her place, like the great women whose statues grace the campus. The rebel girls start to realise that independence may be male only as well. The rebel girls decide to protest, grabbing a bra and some matches and slipping out after curfew. They encounter the boys, also out after dark, spying on the girls' dormitories.
Hello.
They scold the boys for their childishness, but the boys say, boys will be boys, but real ladies should know better. This angers the girls more, and they light a bra and throw it on one of the revered female statues on campus, scuffing its head, and they cheer, powerful and free at last, before they're caught and taken to the headmistress. The headmistress rants about respect for the school, the women who've come before them, their fellow classmates now, and the girls say they wish all those women, everyone who's supported the patriarchy and will support the patriarchy, would just disappear. Headmistress says they'll have a lot of time to think about it over the Christmas break, because they'll be staying here with her, cleaning, tidying, and learning to be ladylike. The boys were also caught, but they were let off with a warning.
Oh.
Boys will be boys after all, and besides, they're needed at their father's businesses over the summer. Boys have responsibilities.
Of course they are.
Boys have responsibilities. The break comes and the girls watch everyone else, the popular girls, the arrogant boys, all travelling the long journey home to festivities and freedom. As the girls sleep, grumpy in the quiet dorm, a letter arrives for the headmistress. Clearly it is some grave news because she immediately calls a cab and rides off towards the city. When the girls awake the next morning, they find their headmistress is gone, with no clue as to where. They think of calling someone, their parents maybe, but everyone knows they're here as punishment. What can they do? They realise they're totally alone in the school. Their dream has come true. They decide to do every crazy fun thing they can think of, eating all the cafeteria desserts, dancing to the Beatles in the auditorium, riding bicycles through the corridors, even sliding on mattresses down the staircases. They even burn some more bras in their own personal...
Burning those bras.
They love burning the bras in their own personal revolution. And then the boys fall through the ceiling and are hanging endangered. The girls are worried and help them get down, but the boys are jovial and demand to know what the girls think they're doing here, running around all alone in a school like this. I mean, the boys come here regularly to pull pranks and stuff, but it's not very ladylike. The girls say they behave how they want, they're independent women, so the boys say, prove it. And the boys and girls proceed to party, diving off the roofs into the school pool, exploiting things in the science lab, and then the boys suggest some skinny dipping. Maybe they can burn some more bras. And the rebel girls hesitate. They don't know if independent women do that sort of thing. And before they can decide, the popular girls show up. They claim one of them forgot something and came back on the train to find the school ransacked by hysterical girls. They say they'd hate for the headmistress to come back and find the school wrecked. Bras all over the statues, paint all over the dorms. Someone might get expelled. So the rebel girls barricade themselves in the girls' dorms, vowing to protect them at all costs, but not sure how. They need help from someone with experience. Meanwhile, the boys are left out with the popular girls and seem to be falling victim to their modest, demure charms. Until the rebel girls wave a burning bra out the window, and the boys are enticed. The rebel girls let them in and ask their help, and the boys happily take charge. The girls follow their every order to set traps using lab equipment, woodwork tools, and metal shop materials. Then they encourage the boys to pretend to double-cross the rebels, to be on the popular girls' side, to flirt and pledge their hearts to the popular girls forever, only to lead them into traps to cover them in paint and scrapes and send them wailing from the school grounds.
Classic.
The popular girls yell as they run, "Good luck finding a husband when no man respects you." But the rebel girls just laugh and celebrate their male compatriots. Their reputation and virtue is safe at last. Heady and relaxed, the girls party with the boys. Things start to get mature, and the boys suggest they get back to that skinny dipping. With new confidence, the girls say they're not interested in that right now, but they're happy to keep partying. This makes the boys very angry. They say the girls are teasers and hypocrites. First they talked about bra burning, then they waved bras around and got the boys to do brave things for them, and they waved more bras around. The girls say that wasn't part of the deal. The boys say it's always part of the deal. How else do you expect to be an independent woman? And the girls are stunned, but they still refuse. Bitter, the boys wave bras in the girls' faces as they leave. At least we've got some trophies, they say. Hope they don't turn up on the roof of the headmistress office tonight. And then again, she may not be coming back since her husband was told about that affair of hers. And they wink as they go, leaving the girls stunned and confused. The rebel girls are lost. The school is covered in mess when they fight with the popular girls. The statues are covered in bras. Their headmistress is apparently going to be fired for adultery. They don't know what to do until they hear the ladies' showers going and realise the popular girls are in there cleaning themselves off and licking their wounds. They tell the popular girls about the headmistress and wonder if it's true. The popular girls say this is why following the rules is so important. It's hard to be ladylike, but we do it to protect each other from lies, from dishonour, and from men. The rebel girls apologise to the popular girls for using the boys and manipulating them and flirting to do it. That's not what bra burning is about. It's about showing that we're not here to impress anyone. Not the boys, not each other. We're not trophies. We're women. So forcing a truce, they decide to use all the woodwork, metal shop and science equipment the rebel girls know about, plus the baking and sewing stuff the popular girls know about, to set traps and hazards for the boys' return. And when the boys do return that night, they are met with cake catapults, custard quicksand, wedgie machines, royal flushes, Bunsen burns, and creepy dancing female statues in bras. By the night's end, the boys are wailing and running away saying, "That's not very ladylike," to which the girls reply, "You should know better." And as the girls return their bras to the drawers and set about cleaning up the school before morning, they wonder if they'll ever see their headmistress again. And then on Christmas morning, the girls wake up, popular girls, rebel girls, alike, all still alone in the school. They give each other makeshift presents out of wood, metal, cloth and baked goods, and wonder if things will ever go back to the way they were once the break is over. Then headmistress pulls up in a cab. She's worn, but in good spirits. They tell her everything that happened, and she's stunned. She apologises for leaving the girls like that. Said her husband was told she was having an affair, and her husband has always been demanding. So she had to sort it out. She was even willing to risk her job for the marriage. But as soon as she realised that, she ended it. Any man who would believe a fake note from a bunch of schoolboys over his own wife is not as important as a group of young women who can protect an entire school all by themselves. She says she won't share this with anyone, but she will talk to the board when the break is over. And at the first board meeting of the year, the headmistress brings in the rebel schoolgirls to explain their resilience, capability, and how much they not only cleaned and tidied over their punishment break, but how many improvements they made to the school itself, repairing statues, maintaining some of the vehicles, fixing the shower plumbing. She says these are the women of the future, and they can be working with men or fighting against them as they help to build the future for everyone. Either way, they're not going anywhere. So what do you say? So the board changes the class policy, not to allow girls to do the boys' classes, but to abolish boys' and girls' classes altogether. Then we see a new statue in the courtyard, rough and made by amateurs, but it's clearly a woman with a bra in her outstretched hand, a tool belt around her waist, and a wink on her headmistress-like face. The end.
All right. Now,
So,
here's my one problem.
yeah.
The entire budget for that movie is going to be spent on bras. There are so many bras getting burned,
this is the
getting
thing.
flung,
This is the thing. I like the idea.
getting stolen.
So have you ever?
a
There's
lot
a
of
movie
bras.
called. There's a movie with Kirsten Dunst in it.
Yeah.
They say something called "Up Your Ziggy with a Wah-Wah Brush." I can't remember what it's. Harry Bird. And
Okay.
it's like a '60s women's. It's about girls in the '60s trying to be these empowered women, but not knowing how. And So
Okay.
I really like that idea of them going, "Oh yeah, it's all about burning bras. We have to burn bras all the time," and then kind of other people misappropriating that and treating it differently, and then they get confused about, "Oh, well, does that mean I have to do the sex thing with the dudes?"
Yeah.
And then they go "No, we don't have to do that." I don't know. I just liked. I liked coming into that innocent world, and
Sure.
then kind of. But it all came because I was like, how do you make it? How do you take the basic concept of protecting a place from some people,
Yeah.
and not necessarily just make it bigger, but just make it more complicated.
There's
more
so many,
interesting.
so many prank montages in that movie.
Right, that's
Great.
right. Yeah, so I was like, I want to embrace that because I'm not doing anything with Kevin. I'm not doing anything with the burglars. I was like, no, I want to try to see if I can do a whole group of people fighting a whole group of people.
Yeah.
And then I like the idea that it's boys trying to steal girls' virtue or something, and girls going,
Sure.
no, piss off. But then the girls also have to maintain this reputation.
Do we find out at the end of the movie that one of the head rebel girls, her last name's McAllister or anything like that? Just as a little Easter egg.
Yeah, sure.
It could be Kevin's
well, maybe the
grandmother
headmistress.
or
The
something.
headmistress can be I reckon the headmistress could be the grandmother or something. We
Yeah,
see
okay.
that statue and then we go down and we say, Noira McAllister.
Yeah, just a little nod.
Just a little thing, yeah.
To the what is essentially a Home Alone prequel.
Yeah,
Really?
kind of, yeah.
I mean, you said it in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
I like it.
Thanks, yeah. It's it wasn't as dark as yours, but it was definitely kind of more serious
It's got
and
a lot of-
topical than
Yeah, it got a lot of topical undertones.
Yeah.
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 Feminism,
Yeah.
independence.
Yeah, that's
all
kind
that,
of it.
all
That's
that good stuff.
become a theme that you might see that as another theme in my other pitch.
Yeah, okay.
I was on a bit of a
All right.
But
Great.
but yeah, great. Okay, well I'm very happy.
I'd watch either of those
Yeah,
two
I
movies.
think they're great. I genuinely feel like Macaulay would be interested in
Hit us up. You
in-
can
in
hit us up at
Alone.
funding@pitchingin.com. Funding options.
Cool. And that is it for part 1 of our Home Alone episode of Pitching In. Thank you for listening, and thanks again to my excellent guest, Shane Adamczak. Tune in next week for part 2, where Shane and I try to pitch rewrites of movies we don't like and attempt another mishmash timed pitch challenge. Please check out more episodes of Pitching In at our Facebook page, on iTunes, now on YouTube, and on the Podbean app. And until next time, remember that kindness can be critical.